Imagine this. You're standing in your workplace canteen, surrounded by coworkers. Suddenly, your manager, who's supposed to set the example, looks you dead in the eye and says, "Never trust a colored man in a hoodie." The room goes silent. Your blood boils. And right then, you realize if HR won't stop him, if nobody else will stand up for you, then you'll have to serve justice yourself. And oh boy, the way I did it still makes me grin to this day. If you've ever dreamed of putting a bully in their place, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because this is one of the most satisfying petty revenge stories you'll hear today. I never really thought much about race growing up. See, I moved from Africa to Wales when I was just 5 years old. By the time I was a teenager, I felt like any other British kid. I loved football, I loved working on cars, and I never thought of myself as different. But when I became an apprentice HGV mechanic, the cracks started to show. Little comments here and there from tutors, classmates, even coworkers. Sometimes it was jokes about my skin color. Sometimes it was stares, whispers, or casual dismissals. At first I brushed it off. My nature has always been calm, collected. I don't throw punches. I don't explode. My weapon has always been composure. If someone insults me, I either address it calmly or I just ignore it. But let me tell you something. Everyone has a limit, and mine was coming. By my 4th year, I was working at a main dealership. That's when we got a new manager. And the moment he walked in, I knew something was off. Anyone who's ever dealt with racism knows the feeling. The energy, that subtle shift in tone, the way their eyes land on you differently. At first it was small things. He'd pat my afro hair like I was some sort of pet. He'd comment on my African name, saying things like, "You need to go and talk to your mother about that name." I'd bite my tongue. I'd force a straight face. Then one day, standing next to the supervisor, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "Maybe you should build a fire outside and send smoke signals to your African friends." The supervisor laughed. I didn't. I just clenched my jaw, staring at the floor, trying not to let my blood boil over. But he didn't stop. Oh no, he wanted an audience. Humiliation in the canteen. The canteen was supposed to be a safe space, a break room where we could sit, eat, and recharge. But to him, it was his stage. One break, he decided to tell everyone why blacks shouldn't be allowed into colleges or universities. His reason? He thought we had low IQs. The laughter in the room wasn't loud. It was nervous. But the damage? It was crushing. I sat there in silence and staring at my tea, every word cutting deeper and deeper. And then came the final straw. It was a cold day. I was at the parts counter, waiting for parts. Hoodie on, hands in my pockets, minding my own business. That's when he leaned into another supervisor and said, loud enough for me to hear, "Never trust a colored man in a hoodie." It felt like the air had been punched out of my chest. My ears rang, my hands shook, my face burned hot. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. Some of you might be wondering, why didn't I report it? Why not go to HR? Simple answer, HR in this company was useless. Complaints went nowhere. Bullying cases were ignored. If anything, complaining would have just painted a bigger target on my back. So number HR wasn't the answer, but revenge was. Now here's the funny thing about this manager. He had a little side hustle. He'd buy snacks and drinks in bulk from wholesalers, crisps, chocolate bars, cans of soda. Then he'd sell them to us for 50 pence each, claiming the money would go toward Christmas drinks. But there was one rule. He only wanted 50 pence coins or pound coins, no small change. One time, a mechanic who was struggling financially tried to pay with coppers, 1 pence and 2 pence coins. The manager chewed him out in front of everyone, humiliated him, and made him feel like trash. And that's when the light bulb went off. That night, I went home and pulled out every coin jar I had. I sat at my table, carefully counting out 4 whole pounds in coppers, 1-pence coins, 2-pence coins, hundreds of them. It took me nearly an hour to bag them all up, and the whole time I had this grin plastered on my face, because tomorrow, justice would be served. The next day, I walked into work, straight to the snack stash, grabbed a few things, and slapped that bag of coppers onto his counter. He looked at it. He looked at me. He said nothing, and I walked away, cool as ice. But oh, I didn't have to wait long. At the 10 a.m. break, the canteen door slammed open. He stormed in, red-faced, veins bulging. "Who did this?" he roared. I sat there calmly sipping my tea. Then I raised my hand. Me. Our eyes locked. I didn't flinch, didn't blink, just let him drown in his own fury. He exploded. "You lot have nothing better to do. I'm done with this. I'm not going to be doing this anymore because you don't appreciate it." He stormed out, slamming the door. And me? I sat back, grinning ear to ear. Of course, not everyone was happy. My supervisor pulled me aside later, saying, "You've ruined it for everyone now. You better bring the correct money tomorrow." But I didn't care, because the truth was, this wasn't about snacks. This was about standing up to a racist who thought he could say whatever he wanted without consequences. And for once, I was the one laughing. Not long after I left the company, I'd had enough of the toxic cliques, the double standards, the bullying. But karma? Oh, karma had its own plans. The manager was eventually sacked. Well, technically, they let him resign to save face. But everyone knew the truth. His arrogance, his cruelty, his racism, it finally caught up with him. On his last day, he tried to buy food for the whole team as a goodbye gesture. Everyone sat in the canteen, eating. Everyone except me. I stayed in the workshop, working straight through my break. And when he came over, expecting maybe a handshake, maybe forgiveness, all he got was silence. He muttered, "Behave yourself while I'm gone." I didn't even look at him. He wasn't worth the breath. Looking back, maybe my revenge wasn't huge. Maybe it wasn't career-ending, but it was mine. And it was enough to remind him, and remind myself, that no matter who you are, you deserve respect. And if someone thinks they can strip that from you, well, sometimes the pettiest revenge can be the sweetest. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more true stories of revenge, justice, and karma. And tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest revenge you've ever pulled off? I'd love to hear it.